Welcome to the channel Soul Family. Today we journey into the higher self. I know this topic sounds a little mystical, but is incredibly practical and empowering as you experience aligning with your higher self. So what exactly is your higher self? Is it some guru on a mountaintop, a spirit guide floating around, or a cosmic being from another dimension? Not quite. The higher self is one of the most profound and misunderstood esoteric teachings, bridging mysticism, soul remembrance, and multidimensional consciousness. So let's get right to it. Beyond your name, beyond your story, beyond even your thoughts, there exists something timeless, an eternal presence watching it all unfold. This is the higher self, not a fantasy, but the pure essence of who you truly are. And remembering it is the first step in your return to truth. The higher self is the eternal, non-egoic aspect of your being. In esoteric traditions, it is the bridge between your soul and source, the part of you untouched by trauma, illusion, or conditioning. It doesn't think in words. It speaks through resonance, intuition, knowing. It is your divine observer, the silent guide that remembers your mission, your lessons, and your light. In Hermeticism, it's the higher genius. In Vedanta, the Atman. In Kabbalah, the neshama, the soul's divine spark. The Egyptians depicted it as the Ba, the eternal soul watching from above. The Greeks called it the demon, a guiding intelligence. Every mystical path speaks of a sacred witness, a self that sees beyond the veil. As we descend into physical form, we pass through what some call the veil of forgetfulness. We forget who we are to remember it again consciously. This forgetting creates ego, the small self, rooted in survival and separation. The higher self never leaves, but we stop listening. So how do we remember? Through silence, through presence, through heart-led intention. When you meditate, journal, follow synchronicities, or feel chills of truth, that's your higher self nudging you home. You begin to live not from the mind, but through the soul. The goal isn't to kill the ego, it's to realign it under the guidance of the higher self. You are not a human trying to awaken. You are the higher self experiencing the human dream and slowly remembering that you never left. And when you begin to act, speak, and love as that higher presence, everything changes. Now let's untangle soul contracts. Did you choose this life? And why the higher self guides you through it all? What if your life wasn't random? What if, before you were born, you chose it? The people, the pain, the blessings, even the timing of your awakening. This is the esoteric teaching of soul contracts, and once remembered, it transforms everything. A soul contract is a sacred agreement made before incarnation. It's not a script, but a blueprint, a map of themes, relationships, and soul lessons. These aren't punishments. They are assignments chosen by your higher self to help you grow, awaken, and return to wholeness. In Hinduism and Buddhism, karma is not fate, it's energetic cause and effect, shaped over lifetimes. Mystics speak of the Akashic records, a vibrational field where every soul agreement, decision, and pattern is encoded. In esoteric Christianity, the soul is said to descend through spheres of choice before taking form on earth. Your soul contract doesn't dictate every moment. It offers options, probabilities, and themes. You have free will. You can delay lessons, choose detours, or even forget your purpose temporarily. But the soul will always whisper, always redirect. Ever met someone who felt instantly familiar? Or someone who triggered deep wounds you didn't understand? These are often soul contracts. Some come to awaken love. Others come to reflect wounds. All come to evolve you. Even the most painful encounters may be part of a deeper promise to teach forgiveness, empowerment, or release. Let's see some signs of soul contract activation through the higher self. Sudden life shifts or awakenings. Deep inner knowing of a mission. Repeated patterns that demand growth. Encounters that feel destined inner peace after a difficult choice. These aren't coincidences, they're activations. You are not broken. You are on schedule. You may not remember the contract, but it remembers you. And every time you choose love over fear, healing over blame, purpose over distraction, you are fulfilling it. Let's talk about something powerful and deeply personal. What it feels like when you begin aligning with your higher self. This isn't about becoming perfect or transcending your humanity. It's about coming home to the truest version of you, the version that's been guiding you all along. Let's explore some key attributes as we enter alignment. 1. Clarity over confusion. 2. Emotional sovereignty. 3. Inner knowing, not overthinking. 4. Synchronicity becomes normal. 5. Boundaries become sacred. 6. The old begins to fall away. You become a mirror. So let's break down what all this attribute mean in our daily lives. You stop chasing and start listening. The noise of the world fades just enough for you to hear your own inner compass again. It's not that you have all the answers, it's that you know where to look. You become less reactive, not numb but aware. You realize that emotions are messages, not rulers. You respond from your center instead of your triggers. You stop blaming and start integrating. Suddenly you just know when something's right or when it's not. It's that intuitive flash, that soul nudge, that moment where you don't need to argue with yourself, because truth just feels clean. You say something and it shows up. You think of someone and they text. You feel lost and a sign appears. This isn't magic, it's alignment. When your frequency matches your soul's truth, life responds in divine rhythm. You stop feeling guilty for saying no. Why? Because the higher self doesn't people please, it protects the path. You start choosing energy that reflects your soul's worth, not your past wounds. This part's not always pretty. People may leave, jobs may shift, habits may crumble, but you'll feel something deeper holding you. The old self starts dying, and the real you starts emerging. You begin to reflect back to others what they forgot in themselves. Your presence alone calms, triggers, awakens, or activates, not because you're trying, but because you've become more real. Aligning with your higher self isn't a one-time event, it's a continual remembrance. It's choosing presence over patterns, soul over safety, and truth over comfort. But the more you choose it, the more you become it. And eventually the line between you and your higher self disappears. The path to the higher self isn't found in some distant mountaintop or rare mystical moment. It's here, in the quiet morning breath before the world speaks, in the pause before a reaction, in the choice to listen instead of judge. The higher self whispers not in grand visions but in nudges. Don't scroll, breathe instead. Say no, even if they won't like it. Write what your soul is aching to say. Each moment is an invitation, and you get to say yet or not yet. Remember, the journey is not linear. Some days you'll feel radiant, sovereign, completely connected. Other days you'll forget. You'll fall into old wounds, old loops. And that's okay, because awareness doesn't mean perfection. It means remembering faster, loving yourself sooner, and returning to truth more gently. Now your awareness becomes your compass. You start noticing energy, not just words. You sense when something's off, not because it's wrong, but because your soul no longer fits in places built from fear. You don't need to analyze everything. You just know, and that knowing is sacred. As you evolve, the older versions of self start to shed. The version of you that needed approval begins to release. The version of you that thought you had to earn love begins to dissolve. And in their place, you remember who you've always been. Keep in mind, the higher self is not above you, it is within you. It's not some faraway guide. It's the stillness beneath your thinking, the truth behind your fears, the light in your eyes when you speak from the heart. And the more you honor it, the more it lives through you. As you evolve in your journey, your daily life becomes a sacred ceremony. Lighting a candle becomes communion. Speaking your truth becomes prayer. Loving yourself through discomfort becomes your offering to the divine within. This is what it means to live in alignment, not to escape the world, but to walk in it, anchored in who you truly are. The higher self doesn't ask you to be perfect, just present. And in every breath, every choice, every quiet return, you meet yourself again. Not the version the world built, but the one you were born to remember. While alignment doesn't mean life becomes problem-free, however, your perspective on challenges does shift. And that makes a world of a difference. You weren't born to live on autopilot. You came here to awaken. You came here to remember that beneath the noise, beyond the wounds, behind every mask, you are something vast, timeless, and divine. Now you can feel more peace, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally are. You begin attracting not just people but reflections, not just opportunities but assignments. You stop chasing and start becoming, because alignment isn't about becoming someone new. It's about peeling back everything that isn't you, until all that remains is light, presence, truth, and love. So stay in the journey, even when it's slow, even when it's quiet, even when it hurts, because on the other side of this remembering is you. Thanks for watching, Soul Family. Stay curious, stay aligned, and remember, it's a journey, not a marathon. May your day be aligned, inspired, and full of soul whispers. Until next time, Universal Consciousness signing out.